What just happened? I'm Dan. That is Jen.
Hey everybody, my name is Jen, Discord member here.
If you notice, Jules and Xander are not here. It's Jules' birthday, so let's get some happy birthday, Jules,
Happy
in the comment
birthday.
section. And Xander's just busy, so we got a Discord member on. If you want to be in a video in the future, just hit that join button. We'll get you on a video. So we're here to talk about season 2, episode 7 of Silo called The Dive, and things are starting to heat up. I think it was a pretty good episode, and let's get into it. So it starts off with Lucas being shown the Legacy, which is a massive library that is included in the Legacy, filled with books and a futuristic tablet that's better than any iPad I've ever seen that you can speak into and get any knowledge you want.
Lucas would like information on secret codes and ciphers.
So only a handful of people have access to this. Do you think Bernard's moving a little too quickly with Lucas here? A little
I
bit.
do. I do. I think he's completely going overboard. I think, like actually Jules said last week, he is overwhelmed, floundering, and he's being very reactionary. And everything he's doing, if you notice throughout the episodes, nothing but anger is coming. And he's even cursing and freaking out. Everything's with anger. He's running, it's speed. Everything shows him just unraveling quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, he's panicking and he's grasping at straws, but he knows Lucas is smart and he knows Lucas can figure out stuff. So he feels like that's his best bet. So he's going all in with it. And it
Yeah.
comes to a point where Sims is pretty pissed off about it. So we'll talk about it.
Right.
And then Knox and Shirley both receive something mysterious. We find out what it is in just a second. And Lucas is shown his new living arrangements. And he's in a room with all of human history that they have, all of the knowledge that they have. And Bernard lets him know that the silo was built 352 years ago, but he doesn't know why it was built. But the point is, they want to break Salvador Quinn's code. It's potentially more dangerous than the rebellion.
It's potentially more dangerous than the rebellion.
I'm sure we'll find out by the end of the season what that code is. He does have a breakthrough in this episode, Lucas does, so I'm sure we'll get those answers pretty soon.
I think it's crazy. Like that's such a big, huge focus of his attention is what this code could actually be. When he's got
Yeah,
this whole rebellion he's trying to handle, it's almost like he's creating two fronts for him to fight.
yeah,
One that no one else knows about and may be completely unnecessary, but to him, it's so important. I almost feel like he's more pissed that Meadows knew that secret and he doesn't know everything. Like he's
yeah.
not the end all be all. I think that's where like the control that he doesn't have on that is why he's unraveling.
Yeah, and I think he really regrets killing her because he could use her right now. He could
Yeah.
definitely use her right now, her knowledge. But she wanted to go out, so it really wouldn't have worked out anyway. Lucas's purpose is to look up secret code and ciphers, and like I said, that futuristic iPad is at his means, so he's going to go through that throughout the episode. So then we find out what Mechanical was given. They were given gunpowder, and they had these messages, so they set off some sort of rocket with a parachute. That was dope. That was really cool. And it ejects papers everywhere. And I'll put up on screen what it says. They only flash it on screen for like a half a second. And it's basically putting doubt in people's minds of how Meadows really died and look to IT and you'll get the truth.
Three good questions on there. And I think those are the three good questions that everybody was kind of, that the rest of the silos already asking. Those that are
Yeah.
on the fence, those are like the three main questions. So I think they did a good job of honing in on that and not writing a, hey, oh my God, we were innocent. And they didn't give their
Yeah.
story.
Yeah.
They just let the curiosity that's overtaken them, they just spread that. It's like they watered that tree and watched it grow
Yeah,
as it.
exactly. Yeah.
um,
And it was pretty cool too because they said look to IT. IT's lights were still on.
right.
So they have a backup generator so that their lights don't go out. And the people are like, what the hell? You guys' lights are still on. Come on. He comes up with some bullshit later on to explain that there's a backup generator, just like Solo talked to Jules earlier on in the season, explaining that there is a backup generator for IT. So that's something that we knew about already. So
Right.
now everybody else knows about it, right? So we see Jules helping Solo. She wants her suit. She's like, look, give me my suit. I'll go save my people. I'll come back. But he won't take the risk of her dying. He's like, what if you die? What if they kill you? What if your suit doesn't work? He lists all these things. He's like, no.
I'm sorry, I really am, but no, we do this now.
So that's where they're at. And that story goes on throughout the whole episode.
Right.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've had that question the entire time. Is he really the only one left in the silo? So I mean, that's been there. Like I think
Yeah.
as like what else is going on. I think the show's done a good job of thinking that he is alone,
I think he is. If I had to guess, I tend to believe that he is alone. Yeah. So we finally see Carla. She is locked down. She is like high volt security. Can't get to her. So Bernard sits down with her. Tell me about the gunpowder. How much stuff do you guys got down there, really? And she's like, tell me about my people first. And he's like, nah. Walks out. So that's all we get for now with her story. We know that Walker is going to go to the end of the earth to fix that situation with her. So that's a storyline to keep in mind as well. And then Sims and his wife, he goes, look, Amundsen isn't up to the job. Bernard needs my help. But she, Camille, wants him to wait for Bernard to go to him.
If you go to him, you're doing him a kindness. If you wait for him to come to you, you're doing business.
Smart. She is smart, Camille. So I like the way she goes about things. And then Solo is talking to Jules about how when you go down, I'm going to have to lift you up slowly because of the bends. He knows about the bends because he's read all these books, which is true. And then she's like, if it's so dangerous, why don't you do it? He's like, yo, I'm a fuck up. You're not. Keep me from ruining everything. Please. I need you. So she does it.
Very childlike pleading, and she almost was like the big sister, was like, oh my God, fine. But the way he carried on, I mean, he's such a great actor, Steve Zahn. So, but he went from like emotional, like really right into that slamming on the wall, like really dramatic, to just get her to give him in, give in and give him his way.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, so true. So we see that scene play out later. It's really cool stuff. I wonder how they filmed that too, with her underwater and everything. I would love to see a behind the scenes shot of how that scene was made. It was so realistic looking.
I loved when it was going down and you actually could see through like the different levels and you could see that different things grown, and I was almost looking for like a skeleton to pop out, which didn't, but just as it went down, you're right, it was really cool, and you can actually see this whole growth and life that's going on under the water there. So it makes like you think, how long has it really been submerged? Some of that plant life was freaking flourishing, like trees and huge plants. So, but that was really cool shot, all underground or all underwater. It's great.
Yeah, it was really cool stuff. Yeah, really well shot. So then Bernard's talking to the cops, and this is when he comes up with his bullshit, right? He's like, I decided to shut down the radio. Billings is a hostage. That's why he said what he said. So until he's back, the radio's disabled. He doesn't want them hearing anything else from Billings because he knows Billings is starting to turn. So then they say, how'd the power stay on in IT? He's like, no, they controlled it. They made it look like that. They kept it on for a little longer to make me look like the bad guy. That's what they're doing. When he's full of shit, he went inside and turned it off. So yeah, he's unraveling. And then Hank and Billings are questioning a suspect about who poisoned the food. And he's like, I don't know. Somebody leaves notes and somebody left an order today. And the order is to kill Knox and Shirley. So they're like, oh shit, we got to go talk to them. And then we see that Solo made Jules goggles.
I made you these. Surprise.
Swimming goggles that he manufactured. So that was a good idea.
I made them out of welder's goggles.
Swimming. He's like, you kick
told her about swimming. Yeah. He's like, what's fish do? Even though fish don't have arms and legs. Yeah, that type of thing. So down she goes. So we see that scene in a minute. And then Bernard comes in and he's pissed at Sims because Sims won't give the search warrant.
Right.
So he won't get his way. And he's like, no. And he's like, I gave you a decade of my life, my loyalty, and my faith. I thought you'd make me your shadow. And then Bernard says, no, I thought I was, but then I realized what it was. You lacked curiosity, something my new shadow has.
You made Lucas Cal your shadow?
You motherfucker. How could you do that? He's all pissed off.
Right.
And then he's like,
glad you have such a strong team at your side.
Amundsen, Lucas Kyle, he's talking shit. He doesn't think it's a strong team at all. I think Lucas actually is valuable, but he's pissed. So he's going to talk some shit. He's like, you're going to lose everybody else. Amundsen's useless. You're running out of moves. You're running out of allies. And he says,
now, your wife may have helped save those raiders yesterday, but she's also the reason those fugitives made it safely back to the Down Deep.
Which Sims didn't know about at this point, which we theorized earlier that he did know about it and they were in on it together.
Right.
Not true.
Yeah, not. But he had such a poker face. He was able to hold his shit together. Even though he was angry, he did not lose his shit and give away details the way Bernard has.
Yeah, that's true.
He definitely kept together. And then obviously the conversation that they have later on. But I actually theorized, like you were saying, they were together. And I actually thought he wanted to take over. But after seeing the way that conversation went and the way it goes with his wife, with Camille, I'm like, they're not. It's her. It's not him.
Yeah, it's her. Yeah.
Her. It's
Yeah.
her. You know,
He
always
just had a face like, okay, I'm gonna go talk to her. Like, yeah,
right.
he didn't know. Yeah, so Hank goes to Francis about the rat problem. You know, she's like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Fuck off. So that's it for now.
Seriously, Hank. If you think I know any rats, you can fuck off.
We see Jules is deep underwater, and they flash back and forth to that scene. And then Walt comes in and wants to know about seclusion. She's asking about that because she knows that's where Carla is.
Right.
And he's like, look, Carla's in the fortress, and we can't get a message to her. I'm sorry. There's no way. The radio's off. Computers are off. There's no way. And she's like, I lost her 25 years ago. I'm not going to lose her again for not doing enough. I'll figure out a way to get a message to her.
I'll be damned if I don't do enough this time.
Wow.
No.
And then we see Lucas. He thinks he cracked the code, that it's a numeric cipher. We'll come back to that in a second. And then Jules finds the pump. She turns the pump on. So there you go. She did it. I wasn't surprised that she
drag
figured
that
it
out.
out.
I was glad it went quick.
Yeah.
Please don't drag this out over 2 episodes. Let it be quick.
Yeah, please. Yeah.
I was really happy that went nice and easy.
Yeah. That's the one problem we have with this season, that, you know, her storyline is dragging a little bit, and hopefully it speeds up over the next 3 final episodes. So we'll see. And then we see Kathleen, Billings' wife. She let Billings know that she followed Francis to the cafe because she didn't think she was telling the truth. And she's like, yo, things are getting out of hand. And then Knox is like,
if it's already out of hand, you're going to need someone they might actually listen to.
so let's go. Jules rings the bell to get pulled up. We'll come back to that in a second. And people are blaming Maeve, the cafe cook, right, for poisoning the food. I mean, that's a good suspect to blame, right? And she was like, no. I'm the one that told you about the poisoning. And then we find out they have her mom up there. So it was her. It was her. And she was like, look, I didn't have a choice. And yes, I also printed the note about Knox and Shirley. And they're like, all right, look, we're not gonna punish you. We're not gonna do anything. Just stop taking orders from them and never turn your back on us again, and we're cool. So that's the way they do it down deep, you know?
Right.
Fair.
I thought that was really important. I thought that was really important, seeing how they show how they delegate that punishment and retribution, how it just comes out in the community, how they speak about it. It's not hidden like it is up in judicial and IT, where they just kind of tell you what they want to hear. Like, it was handled in front of everybody. I really liked that scene. It showed what the entire silo really needs overall.
Yeah,
If they can
100%.
Watch the rebellion and just change leadership and the way the administration works, they can make it work. They just got to get rid of that stupid pact, and then everybody.
Yeah, that's stupid pact. So outdated. I mean, we find out, what, 352 years old? Like, come on, man. Time for a change.
Seriously.
Time for a change. Be honest with people. If people want to go explore, let them explore. What's that going to hurt?
It's going to be mouths to feed. And so I'm just saying.
Yeah, if it fails, yeah, that's true.
No matter what, you have to do a job. So it's not like they're going to be short-handed employees. Let some people go out and explore. Set up a whole team in a department for that. And then you won't have to worry about it.
Plus, that makes for good television.
Yes, it does.
It does. So Lucas goes to Bernard about the code, the numeric code that he thinks he cracked, right?
Right.
And he's like, it's from a book. And Bernard goes, that's not possible. If you didn't find it in the legacy, then it's not from a book. And he goes, no.
All it means is that Quinn didn't use a book from the legacy to create his code.
So he goes, oh, a relic. That makes sense. A book that's out in the silo somewhere. So we need a book that's 140 years old or longer, because he wrote this code 140 years ago. So maybe it belonged to Quinn himself. It probably, most likely, 99% did. If he wrote this code based on a book, it belonged to Quinn. Let's be honest here. So who might have it? Maybe one person. That person's dead. But I happen to have a copy of it right here, and he hands him the Wizard of Oz. So he's going to start with that, and we'll see if that's the book that he can crack the code with.
I actually kind of thought it was really cool that it was the Wizard of Oz of like all books. Thank God it wasn't like the Bible or something like that.
Yeah,
I'm glad it was something relevant. I mean, I don't know if it had anything to do with the fact that like Wicked has just come out and everybody around would know what the Wizard of Oz is. I would, it was done on purpose because so many people watching the show would kind of have more of relevance and something to relate it to kind of figure it out.
Yeah, that's true.
Kind of clever that they didn't do like Goldilocks and the Three Bears. I'm like, wow, they picked a book that's super freaking old, that's really relevant. So even like my 7-year-old knows, where 5 years ago my 7-year-old didn't know what the hell the Wizard of Oz is. You know,
yeah,
everybody
knows
knows about Wicked. So I thought that was really clever. So what could they have made that was really super old, but still everybody knows about right now? Despite your age.
And Meadows wanted her escaped. She brought up she needed her hot air balloon to escape from the silo. So yeah,
Right.
it would make sense if that's the book that they need. So we'll see. And then Camille's talking to Sims about letting him go. And he's like, what the hell? You didn't tell me this shit. What's going on? You went behind my back. And she's like, look, I knew Bernardo would find out. It's better off that he knows that you weren't involved and it was just me. Do you know how dangerous the rebels are? And she goes, and Bernard isn't? And he's like, all right, fair, but no more secrets. That's the last one.
No more secrets.
So they're cool. They squash that beef and they can move forward. We'll see what happens with Sims moving forward. He's still really pissed at Bernard, but he is the judge, so he holds a lot of power.
Well, I think it's crazy that the judge wields all this power, but we haven't seen that because Meadows was the judge for how long and didn't do anything besides be an alcoholic mess. So I want to know if Sims is really going to take that on. And then they said that, you know, Sims Solo's wife told Camille, is like, we don't make a move together, we don't make a move at all.
Exactly.
I want to see how true they stand because she made a good point. You might as well play both sides while you can. He's in a unique position. And that's where I kind of thought he was going from last week. And after this week, I don't know. I wonder if they're going to wind up becoming their own at odds. So it'll almost be like a triangular effect by the end of the season.
Possibly. We'll see which way they go.
Like her mind was going, and at the last minute, she was like, all right, sweetheart, I'm going to agree to be the submissive wife. And in her mind, she's like, all right, plan B, he's not on board. So I'm kind of curious to see if that's what
we'll see. Jules is ready to ascend, but the rope she tied on earlier obviously fell. You knew that was coming.
That was coming.
Oh, fuck.
I was like, your air stopped.
The air stopped. Air's not working. So Solo's not up there doing what he needs to do. Who knows where he went? Oh, shit. So she's like, all right, I'm ditching my weighted shoes. I'm going to climb up. But they make us wait. We find out in a second. And then Walk is figuring out a way to get a message up top. She starts to record herself and then stop. And then we see Jules again. And she's like, fuck it. And she starts swimming for the first time. She don't know how to swim.
Right.
But she had what Solo said in the back of her mind. She's like, I'm just going for it. Arms and legs. Let's kick. So she goes, she makes it, but Solo's nowhere to be found. And then quickly we see Bernard learn from Amundsen that Carla and Walker divorced 25 years ago. So that's why she turned on her recording device. So now he's going to try to use that against Carla to get the information that he needs.
But they still mean something to each other.
Most likely. And we see Jules is up there and Solo is bleeding and missing. So that could lend credence to the fact that there may be someone else in there. What you said. There was an axe on the ground. He's missing. He's bleeding. What happened to the guy?
Right.
So
because
that's where the theories go.
I mean, I went definitely back to look at it and I was like, oh shit. But where he went was somewhere like off into the dark. And I'm like, who knows? He hasn't come out of that IT area in a long time. Who knows if somebody else slipped in there? I'm actually wondering if, you know, like anybody's ever made it before that they just don't realize.
There could be somebody else there. I mean, that would make the most sense. Somebody just hiding out. How do they get their food? I don't know. That's where you guys come with your theories. Let us know what you guys think. But what happened to the guy? There was an axe on the ground. He's bleeding. What the hell? So we got 3 episodes left. Can't wait to see what happens. And our Severance recap video will be dropping on January 1st at noon to kick off the new year with an epic video. And we're going to make so much Severance content. So if you're interested in that, hit that subscribe button. And yeah, thanks, Jen. You were great. Great job. Great job. We'll see you in a future video. And thank you guys so much for watching. We will see you next time. Later.
You had no idea about the gunpowder, did you? Because he doesn't know what to look for.
What just happened?
What just happened?
What just happened?
What just happened? That just happened.